What's up guys, Mike here, and we're back with another NBA's most underrated players video. This is the second year we're doing this, so I guess we're making this a yearly tradition. And the first time we did this, I said Gordon Hayward was the most underrated player in the NBA. Then, you know, a few months later, he proceeded to break his leg off. So I'm really hoping that the topic of this video is not a curse. Anyway, we are going to be talking about 5 players in today's video. They're 5 guys that I think are underrated, and they're 5 guys that I just kind of wanted to talk about in general. So if you disagree with me, feel free to roast me in the comments. As for now, enough talking, let's start with number 5, Devin Booker. Did you know that Devin Booker is actually younger than both Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons? Did you also know that currently, as a 21-year-old, Booker is averaging 24.7 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game? Those numbers are, of course, extremely impressive, and they're even better than you might think, as there have only been 3 other players in league history to ever average over 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists a game at the age of 21. Those other 3 guys are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Tracy McGrady. That is an extremely elite list, but if Devin Booker's time in the NBA has taught us anything thus far, it's that there is a chance that he develops into a player worthy of joining such elite company. Everything about Devin's time in college and in the NBA screams that he's a hard worker and is willing to do anything to become the best. In college, he came off the bench for Kentucky, and because of this, he slipped farther down in the draft than he should have. That didn't faze him though, as so far every season in the NBA, he has shown remarkable improvement. The knock on his game last year was that even though it was clear he could score the basketball, he still wasn't an efficient player. This season, he's changed that, as he currently almost has a 20 PER and has increased his true shooting percentage to a solid 57%. Again, I have to emphasize here, Devin Booker is just 21 years old and is already putting up around 25 points per game. On top of this, he's begun to establish himself as the leader of the Phoenix Suns, and he's proven to have that Mamba mentality. The need to have the ball in his hands when the game is on the line, and the ability to put the ball in the basket when his team needs him the most. Despite all of this though, this year Devin got basically no all-star buzz, which is understandable because his team is just not that good. This doesn't mean other NBA stars aren't taking note though. Kevin Durant has said, "I love Devin Booker, man. He'll talk shit. He'll rough you up. You better watch out for that boy because he's nice. He's next, I'm telling you." And LeBron has said, "If it's someone that's under the radar right now that I believe is really going to be an all-star in the league, it's Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns." So, big words from 2 of the best players in the world, but like I said, I think Devin will eventually prove these guys right. Number 4, Chris Middleton. This year, Chris Middleton is having a career season with averages of 20.4 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game. Those are close to all-star numbers, and Middleton is surely an all-star level player, but nobody really treats him like one. And of course, the reason for that is because he just so happens to play with Giannis Antetokounmpo. When people think of the Bucks, all they can think and talk about is Giannis, which is a shame. And if we're being honest, most players that were playing as well as Chris Middleton would want way more recognition. Luckily for Milwaukee though, they have found a gem in Chris Middleton, as he's somehow a player that's perfectly fine with going under the radar, even though he's the perfect 2nd or 3rd player to pair with Giannis in Milwaukee's pursuit of winning an eventual NBA championship. When it comes down to it, Chris is a player that does not care about stats, he just wants wins, which is why on some nights he takes less than 10 shots a game, and on other nights he can score over 40 points, which he has done twice this season. So again, I say Chris simply does not get the recognition he deserves, and his former coach Jason Kidd agreed. As Kidd has said, he goes unnoticed. For whatever reason, he's underrated, so he doesn't get a lot of attention, and he just goes about his business. So thank you, Jason Kidd. I hope you're enjoying your time off, and I've got to say, I don't think I could have put that any better myself. himself, as right now Chris is one of only 10 players in the league to be averaging over 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game, and he's doing that on the 6th best team in the Eastern Conference. But still, it seems like he wasn't in the All-Star discussion. Maybe that will change next year if the Bucks begin to win even more games. So Milwaukee fans, hopefully, Jason Kidd really was the problem. Number 3, Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is the perfect example of the fact that success in the NBA requires more than just hard work and skill. You need a little luck too. In the beginning of your career, you don't get to make many choices, so you just have to hope that the right team drafts you. And unfortunately for Aaron Gordon, the Orlando Magic have not been the right team for anyone in the past few years. During Aaron's 4 seasons so far with the Magic, the team has been a train wreck. There's been front office moves. The team has been very inconsistent with their lineup. They haven't won more than 35 games. And to show you just one example of their incompetence, let's look at last season, where the Magic chose to defy any amount of common sense and played Aaron at small forward, even though he clearly has the potential to be one of the best new age power forwards in the game. When playing at the power forward position, many have compared Gordon to a young Shawn Marion, as Aaron has proven that he could use his ridiculous athleticism to become a matchup nightmare for other big men, and his presence as a power forward allows his team more defensive freedom when it comes to switching. So personally, when I look at Aaron Gordon, I see a player who has tons of talent but just has been in the wrong situation, and this year backs that up. Finally, when given a solid amount of minutes at the right position, Aaron Gordon has begun to shine, putting up career-high numbers of 18.4 points and 8.3 rebounds a game. He's also shown tremendous improvement in his shooting ability, as he's managed to connect on 2 threes a night while shooting around 35% from deep. So, with these numbers in mind, remember that Aaron is still just 22 years old right now. He's the same age as Kyle Kuzma. This, to me, means that he clearly has the potential to continue to grow as a player and one day reach an all-star level of talent. As Aaron himself has said, there's still no ceiling for me. And I've gotta say, I believe him. Number 2, Hassan Whiteside. Last year in my underrated players video, the Miami Heat player I chose to talk about was Goran Dragic. So this year we're going to talk about Hassan Whiteside, because the Heat are currently 28-21 and are in 4th place in the Eastern Conference, which is better than almost anyone expected. And so far this season, despite struggling with injuries for most of the year, Whiteside has been an absolute monster at times when he's been on the court, averaging 14.2 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks a game in just 26 minutes a night. These numbers clearly indicate that he is one of the best centers in the Eastern Conference right now, and perhaps even more impressive is his current 24.6 PER, a number that would rank him 10th in the NBA if he had played enough minutes. On top of this, the Heat are 9-9 in games that Hassan missed with injury and are 7 games over 500 when he plays. So you can see, when Hassan is not on the court, Miami is a fringe playoff team at best. When he's playing, they suddenly become one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. But with that said, due to some inconsistent play, some of which could be chalked up to coming back from injury, this year Miami has been just as inconsistent with Hassan's minutes, as there are games in which he will play under 20 minutes if Eric Spoelstra feels like he just doesn't have it. Now, some players, especially if they're getting paid over $20 million a year, might take exception to this. Personally though, I think this is a good thing. I think that while Hassan Whiteside's contributions are flying under the radar right now, as long as he responds well to the front office challenging him, then the Heat are going to become an even more dangerous team come playoff time. And if that's the case, well, I wouldn't be surprised if the Miami Heat became the surprise team of the 2018 NBA playoffs. And number 1, Anthony Davis. Now, I understand that right now you probably disagree with me. You probably don't think Anthony Davis is underrated. That's understandable. I mean, he was just voted in as an all-star starter. But what I'm saying here is that while people certainly understand that Anthony Davis is a great player, I don't think they understand just how historic his career has been so far. Between the 3rd and 6th seasons of his career, AD has averaged 25.8 10.8 points, 10.8 rebounds, 2.4 blocks, and 1.3 steals a game. Just 2 other players in NBA history have ever averaged at least 25 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1 steals between their 3rd and 6th seasons. And those 2 guys are Hall of Famers Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and David Robinson. So again, I understand that the general public knows that Anthony Davis is good. I personally just don't think that they realize that he could one day be the best player in the entire NBA, and this has nothing to do with him. In his time in the league, Anthony Davis has been a 5-time All-Star, and the New Orleans Pelicans have made the playoffs an astounding 1 time. Even this year, a season that was looking great has clearly been ruined by DeMarcus Cousins' season-ending injury, which I've just gotta say is an absolute shame. When I first heard about this news, I did throw out a free AD hashtag on Twitter, but I wasn't 100% serious. I really do want to see what Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins can do if they continue to build their chemistry on the court, because maybe while teams around the league are trying their best to replicate the Golden State Warriors, the real way to beat them might be to do the opposite and dominate them with 2 unstoppable big men. So yes, I agree, the Pelicans this season did not have nearly enough talent to compete with the Warriors, but I want to find out what happens if they do. If New Orleans can keep DeMarcus Cousins, if they can upgrade their roster, if they can become an actual playoff contender, I can guarantee you Anthony Davis is going to get the recognition he deserves, and again, I think he might end up being the best player in the NBA at one point in his career. And also, even if the Pelicans completely fail to build around Anthony Davis, hopefully he gets traded to a team like the Boston Celtics, a team that will put him in the spotlight and allow him to prove himself as a player you can build a championship around. Remember, the man is still just 24 years old. It would not surprise me at all if, given the right opportunity, Anthony Davis goes down as one of the best big men to ever play the game. He's that versatile, he's that talented, he's that special. All he needs is a chance. And that about wraps up today's video. I know there's going to be comments about Anthony Davis, so let me explain a little more though before we go. All I'm saying is that talent-wise, I think Anthony Davis is in the same tier as guys like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, you get it. But because of his severe lack of team success, he's not really placed in that elite category, and I think that as soon as he gets on the same team, you know, like a Kevin Garnett in Boston situation, people are suddenly going to have Anthony Davis as one of their top 3 players in the NBA. So with that said, the video is really done now. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel and you love basketball, make sure to subscribe. We're doing videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now around 6 p.m. Eastern. And I don't want to brag, but this is 3 videos in a row, so congrats, Mike, you're doing your job. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You know your support means everything to me, and you know that you are awesome. In fact, we all know it, and as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music.